Welcome to the podcast, Working Class Bowhunter Podcast. Like, again, every time we listen to it live, it just says our name so much that it's almost like so redundant.
And people like search us on Spotify or something. So I figured they might know what they're listening to, but you never know.
We cram it in your face.
That's right.
We don't want you to forget. Kurt Geyer here.
Eric Common.
We have guest host,
Judd McCollum.
and then the guest of the week, Mr. Hayden Baily, a.k.a. Limb Loss Boss, a.k.a. You got to have something else.
The Legless Shed Hunter.
The Legless Shed Hunter.
There you go.
I like that a lot.
Boom.
I like that. That's probably that might be the Limb Loss Boss is cool.
Limb Loss Boss is really catchy. It's cocky. We always have the joke that my ego was not in my feet because it's still there.
That's not cocky.
All the way.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I didn't know who you were because I don't have TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, is this guy like bow limbs or what's his deal? And I looked at him like, okay, I get it now. I get it.
So, yeah, I started trying to post on shed hunting pages as the Legless Shed Hunter, but I would just put a video together when I found one. When I
Right.
first started walking, well, then you put out like 3 or 4 videos a year.
Yeah, right. That's all you get.
But the TikTok thing just kind of took off, so I've stuck
So,
with that.
are you TikTok famous?
I don't know what your definition is, but it's enough fame
How many
for me.
followers do you have?
650,000 the last time I checked.
Holy
whiz.
Nikes.
I have like 2. So I'm
one of
doing
them.
good. Yeah.
So if people, right off the rip, we're going to start with who you are as the segment right now that we're doing on the podcast. Find you on TikTok, Limb Loss Boss. That's all they have to search.
Yeah, you can Google it. You can find it.
Okay. So if you're on the talk, or if you just want to Google it to watch the videos, Instagram.
I'm on there, but I don't post anything. I'm on there because my wife sends me stuff that she wants me to see. That's about it. I get on once
Some
a week
dumbass
and check
videos.
it.
I like that. Okay.
She posts me a lot of stuff like that.
So you got popular on TikTok. When did you get popular on TikTok?
So actually, the first video, I got TikTok and I loved it. The first video I posted was during shotgun season. And when I
Of
shotgun,
last year.
it was of the year before last.
Okay.
So the first video I posted, I had no clue what I was doing. I was walking through the woods in my short legs. I had a shotgun on my shoulder. And I said, I'm just a legless guy out deer hunting. What'd you do today?
Uh-huh.
And that was it. And that thing took off. I don't know what to expect with any of that. But I mean, it went straight up to like 10,000 views. And then boom, they took it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Just
they-
a gun.
Because
the
it
gun.
shows a gun. So they took down my first video. I was pissed about that. And then I was like,
Sons
hey,
of bitches.
I don't know if this is really. I posted a video like, hey, I got like 20,000 views on a video. It's the second time I posted. Is this a big deal? You know, I'm just asking the general populace. And a lot of people are like, yeah, keep going. That's great.
I like that. So that's where it all started.
Yeah.
So explain for people who are only listening in their car and they're not, well, even if they watch on YouTube, you're waist up on video at the table here. Let's break down why. I mean, you're popular because of your niche and your video content to the niche of, is it really a niche? It is.
It's kind of a niche,
It's
ain't
a
it?
feature.
Positivity is an
It's a
issue.
feature.
Yeah.
It's an accessory.
Yeah. It's because I'm missing both of my legs above the knee.
And next question is, what the hell happened, man?
I had a single vehicle car crash October 5th of 2013.
No shit.
Yeah. I just ran off the road. I don't know if I fell asleep or seen a deer. Ran off the road, got pinned in my vehicle. Obviously couldn't reach my phone. They said I was pinned for, long enough for my legs to essentially die from lack of circulation. And my dad is the one that found me.
Are you
No
shitting
kidding.
me?
Mm-hmm.
How long did you sit there?
I mean, they said it could have been like 4 or 8 hours. They don't really know.
Whoa.
Holy
cow.
fuck.
Yeah.
Late at night or something?
Yeah, something like that. Woke up super early to go do something and just ran off the road. So then my dad found me, and I was the only life flight that day. As soon as they got me, they said no more flying the rest of the day. The weather's terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
And I was in.
Do you remember any part of being pinned?
I don't remember any part of being pinned. Nope. Thank God.
In shock, unconscious? You don't
I'm
know.
sure you're
No, I
in
did.
and
Well,
out, but
I had internal brain bleeding, so they said that's known to just wipe your memory because I don't even remember the day before.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing you don't remember that.
Yeah,
no,
I'm missing both my legs above the knee. My family had it way worse off than me. I am fine.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, the people that had to deal with unknowing whatever, because
For that, however, the recovery period and all that stuff.
So I wrecked. I broke my neck on vertebra C7. I broke ribs. I broke my wrist. My legs were dead from compartment syndrome, acute liver failure, kidney failure, the brain bleed, all that stuff. I was in a medically induced coma for 18 days.
I said they got to put you in
Wow.
a coma for all that shit. They had to.
So I was in a medical coma for 18 days, hospital stay for 47 days. My kidneys completely shut down, so I was on dialysis. Everybody's trying to tell me, like when I woke up, they're trying to tell me what my life is going to be like. And
After 18 days.
yeah, wake up, hey, you know, both your legs are gone. And my initial reaction to that literally was, well, that's probably going to suck for a while, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I had just bought that summer a kayak. Just got like a random hair up my ass. Like, hey, it's a big hollow piece of plastic that floats. Let's get one. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
And I had a really nice 0-turn mower. So I woke up and they said, you have no legs. I'm like, okay, well, I'll be on the water a lot. I'll figure it out. That was just kind of my personality.
Hey,
from it.
0-turn, you only need your hands,
Yeah,
right?
perfect, man, perfect.
Yeah. You knew you
So-
prepped pretty well.
About halfway through my wake period, my kidneys just started working. They had no idea how or why. It was like a miracle thing. I urinated into a bag 10 liters in one day
Oh,
because my body was so inflamed. That's what compartment syndrome does. They said my midsection was like as big as a 55-gallon drum, and my legs were bigger than a 5-gallon bucket.
Holy
my whole body
fuck.
swelled up.
Really?
So my kidneys woke up.
Too much piss in there.
Yeah, they just filtered everything, whatever. And then, so they pulled the PICC line out from the dialysis. And then 2-3 days before I was supposed to be discharged, I told them like my neck's kind of sore right here. And they thought I just pulled a muscle doing PT or something. I had a blood clot in my jugular vein.
Oh, no.
what?
Yeah, like 2 days before discharge. And then everybody rushes in when they did the ultrasound on my neck. And then all the doctors and nurses started freaking out. And they're telling me like, don't move. And I'm... why? What the hell's going on? And then they said, yeah, you have a blood clot in your jugular vein. They had to get me on all the kinds of blood thinners and everything and get it all situated, make sure it was safe before I could get released.
Wow. What an adventure.
47 days total.
You
in
seen some
hospital.
shit then.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
God damn.
Damn, man. That's a crazy series of events there.
So it was actually, since it was October and 47 days in the hospital, I got out of the hospital like right before one of the 2 shotgun seasons. And I remember I posted a picture down in our basement where all our deer are hanging up. Like, this is the first year I've ever missed shotgun hunting, but I still saw more big bucks than all of you because all my dad's mounted deer.
Yeah, yeah. How old were your kids at the time?
No, I didn't have any.
You didn't have kids.
Nope.
Probably.
I didn't have any at the time, just girlfriend. She's my wife now.
You
We
have
got-
kids now. Mm-hmm. Which is a good thing you didn't have kids at the time, just for the scare factor.
Yeah, I was 21. I still had a lot of growing up to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man.
That's insane.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Oh, yeah, me too. Just happy to be here.
So what was like, I mean, man, we got to get you connected with T-Bone.
Oh,
Yeah,
I would
for
love
sure.
that.
You know, just you probably can help him out in a lot of ways.
Well, and that's kind of a lot of what I do on TikTok is I'm just being me. That's literally all it is. If I think something is funny, I'm at the point now where I don't care. I'm just going to post it. That's hilarious.
do you ever have people reach out that are like an amputee or double amputee?
Yeah.
That, like,
oh, yeah. And I
or
try
ask
and
for-
I find them. If I find somebody that's missing both legs above the knee, I will try and be like, hey, add me. Like, let's talk.
Right.
Yeah.
So my clinic that I go to, that I've gone to since 6 months after my accident, is down in southern Oklahoma. They specialize in bilateral above knee people. They put on an event every year for bilateral above knees. It's kind of a peer support, learning.
Yeah.
So I went to one of those 6 months after my accident. So 6 months after that, I'm in a room with 20 other people missing both legs above the knee. And it kind of just reset the mental of, oh, no big deal. Everyone here is like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I'm looking at these guys over on the side of the room that are walking on these fancy tall legs, and they're just walking like normal and joking around and cutting up like
Yeah.
nothing's even
Right.
going on here.
Just nothing but a thing.
Yeah. So through working with them, I've been to that event every single year. I try and help people all over because
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really great. Dang, I can't imagine.
veteran shout out time.
Yeah, dude, you
wanna
got
roll
one.
You got one?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
Do it.
Let's do it.
So it's actually a veteran that I met just this last year, and I asked him all of the questions that's on the interview sheet.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell him that I was gonna be on the podcast.
Even cooler.
Dude, this guy, he's a Marine. He served a little over 4 years. He's also missing both his legs above the knee. He lives in Maryland. His name is Jeff Kessler.
Okay.
And I worked. He's gonna laugh. Here's it.
Shout out to Jeff.
Shout out to
Thanks
Jeff
for your service,
Kessler.
buddy.
Yep, thank you. He is so hard to crack his shell. He's just a very quiet,
Yeah.
but he's built like a brick shit house.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is twice as wide as me, works out like crazy. His arms are big around as my head. It's unreal.
Is he a deer hunter?
He does deer hunt, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he deer hunts. Yeah, shotgun and bow.
Does he know about the podcast?
He said he's going to start listening to podcasts, and I told him that I'd get him hooked up with this one and told him to look into it.
Tell him to start it with this one.
Yeah.
Welcome to the shit show, sir.
Welcome to the shit show.
Thank you for your service,
Thank
buddy.
you, Jeff. Hell yeah.
Well, that's cool that, you got involved with I get like that community as a support system. I can't imagine. And, I can't even imagine what T-Bone's thinking right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the cool thing about it is when you go to that event, you're a doctor can tell you what they think. Your prosthetist can tell you what they think. But when you hear it from someone else that's missing both legs, even if it's something you don't want to hear, that's just on a totally different level of
it means something totally different.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So yeah, I always do it. Well, because I enjoy it. It doesn't hurt that I'm good at it for whatever, I worked at it to get to this level. Mm-hmm. But there were people that did that for me when I first walked in that room. Yeah.
Do people openly, can they see you out in public, do they ask you questions, or do you feel like people are afraid you're going to be offended? Or, of course, that's probably more of the reaction, right?
There's a fair amount of people that will always say something. I'd say the biggest one I get is strangers walk up and just say, "Hey, thank you for your service."
Oh, really?
All the time.
That's what I did. He's like, no, let me stop you right there.
in the early days, I'd get, I don't know why, but offended or upset by it. Then I kind of rerouted my thinking, what a fucking compliment that somebody thinks I'm that badass. I wrecked a Ford Transit Connect, one of those little gay things. My story's not that cool. I didn't serve, man. Yeah. No.
But, people probably just don't know. And,
people don't know, and that's fine. I understand it.
You look like a badass.
I appreciate that.
You rocking the beard. What is going off?
Is it your phone?
I don't know. It's probably it's Joe Humphreys doing this thing here.
Those dings are only forgiven if you get a turkey tomorrow.
I know. I'm supposed to go turkey hunt with Joe tomorrow, and we're working it out.
I got a weird question.
I love those.
Do you?
Hit me.
So you hear a lot of times people still think they can feel their feet move. Mm-hmm. Do you have that?
Oh hell yeah!
Do you really?
I can feel both my feet right now.
Can you really?
It feels like they're asleep. It feels like they're asleep.
Oh,
so when you
still currently?
Yeah, I can still feel them. Yeah, so there's phantom pain and phantom sensation.
Okay, is that what they call it?
Yeah. So think of it like your body's nervous system is like a wiring harness.
Yep.
It goes back to your brain.
Yep.
You cut all those wires, they all still land up here and go out. So your body just thinks that there's something there. And if there's no receptors, it just interprets that as pain. So yeah, I feel my feet as if they're still there right now. They're just asleep. So you can try and move them, but you can't. It's weird, but it's like you feel TV static. That's what a limb that's asleep feels like. That's what they feel like.
The painful part where your legs are trying to wake back up.
So phantom pain, I don't have that hardly ever anymore. But I know what it was like because I had it in the beginning.
Sure.
And it's just
ridiculously accurate. I could grab my wife's foot and pinch right between two of her toes and say it fucking hurts right here, like a stabbing pain or a stinging pain.
Oh, you can pinpoint it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like when you wake up in the middle of the night with a fucking calf cramp.
Yep. I've never got the phantom pain of cramps, but I've heard of that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
The human brain is just doing some wild shit in there.
Yep.
Except I've listened to a couple podcasts, with some amputees and stuff, and they're the phantom. The feeling is you still I still feel like I'm wiggling my toes or wiggling your fingers.
That's
and
how
stuff.
I got rid of my phantom pain. So when I got out of the hospital, as you can imagine, I was on a lunch bucket of medication.
Yeah.
Right.
It was terrible. And I was on nerve medication for phantom pain. Half those meds I was on before I even woke up from a coma. Mm-hmm. So now I'm already taking them. Well, the people that I work with down in Oklahoma who specialize in this, they've been doing it for, 10, 20 years. I don't even know how long collectively. They gave me all the tips and tricks, and I followed their advice. That's the biggest thing, is if you can follow someone's advice and be honest about your progress and what you need to do, you can be successful with it. Mm-hmm. Toe exercises. I eliminated my phantom pain doing toe exercises. And I asked the guy, hey, how do you do that?
Because I ain't got no toes.
Yeah, just try and wiggle. It's just like trying to move your foot when it's asleep. Just wiggle your foot, try and make a fist with your toes. And I'll never forget, I asked the guy, I was like, how often do I got to do that? And he said, well, how often did you wiggle your toes when you still had them? I said, well, all the fucking time. He said, exactly. Like, fuck, okay. So I started doing that all the time. I got off all prescription medications, around about 6, maybe 8 months after my accident.
That's awesome.
Just by doing that and desensitizing, walking on the ends of my stumps.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get you hooked up with Bone for sure.
No, I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, we need to do that. I'm going to adjust this camera real quick. You're good to keep talking.
There's so much, I don't know any other word for it, but ignorance around it, around amputations and amputees, or at least it seems that way to me, even in the hospital.
Yeah.
When doctors are coming in and they're telling me like, hey, you're going to have hinge type prosthetics and probably 2 wrist canes you'll be walking. Like no one knew. No one told me. Like you can get on the internet and Google it, YouTube it, and you might see a guy that walks like nothing even happened, but you might think that's just a one-off. You might, like, I'm not going to be on that level, but it's possible if you know what you're doing and you're hooked up with the right people.
Yeah. Pull that mic a little closer to you, buddy. Yeah, you can get comfy with it.
Sure.
Get up in there.
Is that comfortable where it's at?
Yeah, no,
Cool.
I don't know. I guess.
Yeah.
I've never done this before.
Okay. As long as you don't feel like it's like in your face or too far away, you're good.
All right.
Man, that's
It's so bizarre.
That is bizarre because you hear about the phantom pain, you know what I mean, but you never I didn't know like in detail like that you would still feel it over however long. How long has it been?
It's been 8, 9, going on 9 years now.
See, I figured that would be something just not knowing shit.
So
it'd be something that'd go way over like a little while,
No, and some people's gets worse.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's people that might be 20 years post accident that have terrible phantom pain.
Wow. Fuck.
I can't even wrap my head around it.
It's not, at least it wasn't for me. It's not a constant you're in pain. It feels like this. It kind of comes and goes
Right.
in waves. And if I do get phantom pains a day, it's very rare. Maybe every other month, and it comes like, oh fuck, and then you just kind of wiggle your feet like a son of a bitch, shake it off, and then it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Huh.
So how
crazy.
long after your accident, you said you got out, it was like November pretty much. And then, I'm sure you're motivated to get back and get doing outdoor related things, especially, you love shed hunting. You had to have been thinking about that come shed season.
I was. So
Which-
I grew up in a house where we deer hunt on acreage that is owned by people up near the Chicago area. And they have bought a little house and 600 acres. And when I was a kid, I would mow their lawn because they're not there, take care of their yard and stuff. So in turn, they kind of let us hunt a small portion of their property. So when they're not down, basically you got the run of the place to go around shed hunting and all that stuff. So yeah, I started shed hunting on a 4-wheeler.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yep.
So, and of course you're like, man, I wonder what's in that draw. And I want to ride in that draw, but I can't. That type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I did a fair bit of walking. I've walked more for sheds without legs than I ever did with legs.
Really?
Yeah. I've gotten way more passionate about shed hunting, way more. And, previously it would be on a 4-wheeler, jacking around in the fields or go check the hot spots. But I wasn't going to go out and, walk till my muscles burn type of shit. Today, I will, and I do.
Is that just more of like a challenge thing? Like I can still do it.
That's how it started. It started.
Watch this shit type thing.
Yeah, I
Like, hold
started in
my beer.
Yeah, so I have the full length prosthetics and I have my short legs that are called stubbies. These are modified stubbies that I made, but the first time I walked for sheds, I learned a lot. One would be when you're really short and you take small steps, your whole mental grasping of distance is gone.
Yeah.
Because you walk a half hour and you've made it like 100 yards. So it's really easy to get turned around because you think you're somewhere and you're not. When you're walking somewhere, you've walked a million times.
It's just a mental fuck pretty much.
Yeah. So the first time I went out, we joke around because they're circular. My dad calls them hoof prints because if you see me walk in the mud, they look like horse hooves.
Yeah.
So the first
Put some
time
horseshoes on them things. People don't know if you're there.
Yeah, public land.
the first time I went out, I traced out, the trail I went, and I didn't find anything, but it was cool to walk the hills where I had essentially grown up. And then my dad went out there not long after and found a shed on the other side of a deadfall that was like 10 feet from my hoof prints in the creek. When you're 4 foot 2 inches tall, you cannot see very far at all. So when you're that short, you can't see the distance. So the first time I shed hunted walking was in the short legs, and that kind of proved to be not successful. I never found one initially trying on the short leg, so I didn't actively pursue it.
Yeah.
Be great for mushrooms though. Closer to the ground.
Buddy. Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, buddy. Works great for that. Yeah.
Closer to the ground, you know.
That's why kids find them all, because they're
Yeah.
down there.
That's what my dad always told me. You're closer to the ground. You should be able to find more than me. All right. I never did. But anyway. Yeah, I guess. Okay. That makes sense. A lot of things you don't consider until you have to, I'm sure. So what's it like going through terrain?
There is certain terrain that is absolutely miserable that you three could walk through like it's no big deal. That would be tall grass or fucking vines.
Oh.
When the knee bends, it's just basically swings on a pendulum and has hydraulics that control it with a computer microprocessor. We can get into all that, but it needs to swing forward and be planted. Well, if there's the smallest vine wrapped around my toe, it's not swinging forward. And you got 190 pounds going in that direction, and there's no foot there to catch you. That is just slam
Face planting.
Yeah.
So break down how the legs work.
There are, and I'll butcher this. I'm not a doctor, but this is my understanding.
Your take
Hey,
on it.
trust us. Everyone listening is going to be like, yep, that sounds right.
Hey, all three of us right here are the farthest from a PhD than you can
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So they're microprocessor knees. They're Autobach Geniums is the company. And essentially, in layman's terms, they have a sensor in the toe and the heel and a hydraulic cylinder that all it does is close and give resistance. So when there's pressure on the toe, it knows free swing forward, as if you're taking a step, if you can picture walking. If there's pressure on the heel, it closes that valve down. Because if you watch me walk down a hill or downstairs, you plant the heel and then it bends nice and slow. So they're really, really hard to wrap your brain around and to actually learn how to use them, especially two of them. But that's the general process of how they work.
Dang. So, okay. So it's got to be like your brain is kind of like operating this equation while you're learning to move each leg.
Your brain is learning new legs pretty much.
So the successful protocol that I followed is get out of a wheelchair and throw it away. That is nothing but a gateway to taking the easy route.
Right.
That's not going to lead you towards being successful. So for a bilateral AK, the best protocol is to ditch your wheelchair, slap on a set of stubbies, and live your life. Don't go to physical therapy and walk on a flat, controlled environment while someone is coaching you. Put on the short legs. You're 3 feet off the ground. You're not going to get hurt. Just put on the short legs and go live your life. And that's exactly what I did for another 5, 6, 8 months until I was ready to graduate to full-length legs. And everybody's time frame is different.
Yeah.
But you need to get your balance, your core strength, and be ready to, move up to the big leagues, I guess. And I remember thinking to myself, when I try these out, one of two things is going to happen. One, I'm going to take a few steps. It's going to click in my brain, and I'm going to be like, oh, my God. Or two, it's going to be totally fucked.
Yeah.
It was totally fucked. It was nothing that you could ever prepare for or imagine.
Yeah.
It would make some noise on the mic, but I could take one off. You'd be shocked at how heavy it is.
I mean, I don't give a shit. You can do whatever you want.
Well, that's why I went out and got a wrench.
So
That I
that
should carry on me at all times.
So what's sitting here on the table?
Those are the
So-
stubbies, right?
stubbies, yeah.
Yeah, those are my ladder climbing stubbies that I made with a chainsaw and an old mud tire.
For real?
Yeah, that's off of a 44-inch groundhog tire.
No
And
way. Can I pick it up?
Yeah, pick it up, sure. So you can see how it's cut out.
It does look like a horse hoof. though.
Yeah, I know.
Let me
Look
see.
at it.
It is.
Oh, that does, yeah.
It's obnoxious as hell, but I made those out of a pair. So you can see how there's a foam padding that's attached to the white part.
Yep.
That is one of my original stubby feet that I wore out.
Are you selling these?
Dream Team, my clinic makes them. I don't sell those, but
see
I
this
will
thing.
tell anybody how I made them. That is a crude, ugly, function over fashion piece. But I notched that centerpiece out so it can grip the ladder rung of a tree stand.
I like that.
Oh.
So I
there
can
you
pull
go.
myself up. So I
Yep.
only missed one deer season, and I've been in a tree on
That's
open
impressive,
day every
man.
year.
That's awesome.
I love your motivation. So,
That is an Autobach Genium
Wow.
with an X3 cover and a Triton low-profile split-toe action foot with a 26
this
millimeter
is the
foot
first
shell.
time I'm working class bow hunter. If this comes out on the video podcast, I'm holding a leg. Wow, it is heavier than I thought
Hopefully
it
he
would
didn't
be.
step in dog shit before he came here, you know?
Probably. He was walking
Oh,
around.
wow. That is a lot heavier than you would think.
Yeah. Here, you can stick this in that hole in the top and bend it. That'll give you an idea.
What now?
Look in the
This
very
hole
top.
here?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Bend it. Pull that wrench back to you. So that's how
Oh.
it works. It is
Oh, wow.
the fins cool, the microprocessor and battery pack that's in there. It has wireless induction charging, like a 5-day battery life. They Bluetooth
Whoa.
my phone, so I can check the battery life. I can make minor adjustments on my own, and I can put it in drive mode because I drive with those. I haven't used hand controls since I started using full-length prosthetics.
No kidding.
Yeah, because I got a truck, a Jeep. I drive the wife's car. I drive a company vehicle. I drive with my prosthetics. And
That's
it's
fucking bizarre,
completely
dude.
safe, legal, and honestly, it's way more natural than anybody would think. They think it might be hard, or they don't want to get rid of hand controls. The first time I drove with them was kind of just
Hey, here's your leg back.
yeah. The first time I drove with them, I didn't know what it was going to be like. And as soon as I put it in drive mode and got in the truck and went from gas to brake to feel it, it was completely natural. Like, this is amazing. So there was 3 things that I
Probably
wanted
relief.
to go do. Well, I hadn't drove with my legs in a long time, and hand controls, they're cool the first time you use them because you feel like you're in a go-kart.
Yeah.
But so it was like down for gas and forward for brake, and it's on a D angle, so you can still power brake and do goofy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the first time I drove with my legs was the first time I could drive and have like a free hand.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3 things that I wanted to go do. And I wanted to pull forward in a drive-through while I got out my money. And then I wanted to eat a big-ass messy sandwich while I was driving down the road. And then because I was still a young, dumb kid, I wanted to go out on a back road and lay a big old posi burnout,
Yeah.
trying to shove my foot through the floorboard.
That's
and I
right.
did all 3 of those in about 45 minutes.
Really?
He did a burnout,
So-
eating a sandwich and fucking
So,
talking on the phone.
The day I did it, I texted a picture of that back road with that big ass sliding posi to my leg guy, my hookup down in Oklahoma, my contact.
My
I
leg
texted
guy.
I texted him a picture of my leg guy, and I was like, "Hey, I took the hand controls out of my truck." And he asked, I want to make a post about it. Send me some selfies, pictures of you using it. So I sent him all that, and then he made a post.
Just you burning them up.
No, there was none of that. It was just me using my prosthetics to drive. And then he made a post, and he posted the burnout picture, just the road. And he said, this is like Hayden Baily's celebratory picture, having a free hand to take a picture while he's driving. And I sent him a text, and I was like, dude, I was taking a picture of those slicks like that I had just laid 30 seconds before. He had no idea. That was funny.
That's pretty badass.
Awesome.
I love that. Like, you're just like, throw that wheelchair away and just
It was
learn
it was their advice. I mean, they said this is what it's going to take, and let me put my leg on real quick.
Yeah, put your leg on.
You guys can
Put your
banter.
leg.
Put
So
my leg
Eric,
on.
this is a working class bow hunter first. We're glad to have you, Mr. Limloss Boss.
Yeah. Like you said, first time we ever got to hold a leg in the
First
on
TikTok
the podcast.
famous person we've ever had on the podcast.
That's true, that's true.
Specifically TikTok famous.
Yep.
Judd's got Mountain Dews.
We got a bunch. Yep.
Good to see you, Judd.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Good to have you back in. Good to have you back in. We got a working class on Deercast episode.
A week from today.
Yeah, by the time, launching.
Podcast land.
Yeah, podcast land. You never know when things are going to launch.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll be seeing you a lot. Your leg back on?
Yeah, where were we?
Kick ass, man. I appreciate you like showing us all this stuff. It's cool how open you are about it, right? Because there's probably people who need to see it. You're helping people probably more than you know you're helping people, but probably helping more people than you actually know you are.
It's an interesting topic, and
I mean, there's a lot of people out there too that probably wouldn't even talk about it. They wear jeans all the time and some regular looking shoes. You wouldn't even know.
That's my veteran shout out. That dude was wearing jeans.
Really?
Yep, he was wearing the jeans, and he didn't own a set of the short leg, the stubbies. And during life camp every year at the end of it, we go for a big hike in the mountains as like a group of 20, 30 bilateral above knee amputees hiking through the mountains is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But he didn't have any short legs, and he, a couple days into it, like I said, he's really modest, shy, wore jeans. And I gave him a set of the stubby feet, and he had never used them. And he said when I first met him, you're not going to get me to wear those. And I'm cocky as hell, and I was like, I am going to get you. And the very, very last day when we went on that hike, I had to do some convincing, but eventually he said, fuck it, and slapped on the shorties, and we rocked this mountain.
And went for
Fuck
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I love them. I use them all the time at home.
Yeah. All your
They-
TikTok videos, you got them on and stuff.
Yeah, and I have a ton of people like they don't see my other videos and they say, "Oh, you should try the tall ones." Like, I got the tall ones. Well, you only post in the short ones. Well, that's because that's when I'm at home hanging out and I
Right.
have a second to post. Like, I have
Yeah.
a totally
It looks like
normal life.
Yeah, dude, I think it's cool.
So-
we got to get you hooked up with Bone, man.
Yeah.
I would love to do
You know, and I don't know what T-Bone's mindset is. You know, I've talked to him a little bit and stuff, but I don't know where he's at.
Right.
But I know no matter where he's at, you've been through it and you can help him.
Times two.
So times two.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely make that connection.
Sure.
And because, dude, can you imagine? You know, he's gonna need some help.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll tell him everything I know and help him any way I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So let's talk about getting back in the outdoors, man. You know, you said you only missed one season, which is incredible. So good for you on that.
One season, yeah, and then I went out. Our area has been incredibly overhunted. We don't have a good population. Where, 15 years ago when I was still in Boy Scouts, me and Dad leaving around 5, 6 o'clock at night in the fall, you'd see 20, 30 deer in a herd out in the field.
Yep.
That was no big deal. Now it is shocking to see like 5 does.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly overhunted. The
Central
pressure-
Illinois in general is getting tough.
It's awful. It is.
Everybody thinks they're going to come to Illinois and run into a lease. And
Man, I got to watch Pike County get bombed out, and that was...
yeah, because you were, did you live in Pike County for a little bit?
No, that's where my mom's family's from.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, Jeremy Beck said, he's like, I would not want to try and get ground in Illinois.
No.
You know, he's from Wisconsin, and he just from talking to us and him being down here and stuff, he's like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even try it. But it's people that don't live here don't know. They don't see it. They just think I'm going to go to Illinois.
Yeah. So our area got so overhunted, and it's not a huge chunk of timber. It might be. I live right on the river, just north of Peoria.
Yeah, the Illinois
So,
River.
Yeah. So there's, maybe a mile bluff of timber before it just hits the abyss of corn, and then the river. So
Yeah.
once you overhunt that, and the hunting pressure is terrible. So I only shotgun hunt right now. There's so many people in the woods. I'm just happy to get out there. But yeah. So
For sure.
anyways, I missed one season.
Thanks,
And
Bell
then-
Johnson.
And then went back out, and I've been both shotgun and muzzleloader ever since.
It's awesome.
This year is the first year that I have tagged out.
Congratulations.
Since I lost my legs.
No kidding. So you're up in tree stands just like normal and everything.
Yep, I'm just short.
Just short.
Yeah.
So when you go to hang a stand, a hang on, and I want to talk about you tagging out this year too, but I got sidetracked on like getting into a stand. Do you do hang-ons, ladder stands, and what's your preferred
Ladder stands.
ladder stands?
Ladder stands, and in a typical buddy stand or what's called a big man stand, because I'm so short, I can sit sideways and have my legs propped up like I'm sitting on a couch.
Oh yeah.
It's the most comfortable. and then your backrest is now my armrest.
Right.
And it is the most comfortable thing in the world. To
Oh,
be a
yeah.
legless man in a tree stand is a gift.
Well, okay, I see what you're getting at.
God damn it. Didn't even think about it.
No, well, fuck me. So
Yeah, right.
well, it makes sense. I mean, when I was a little kid, I used to lay down on those things and take naps,
Right.
like a buddy stand or
that
whatever.
was like our thing, because we're the kind of people that we get out in the woods easily an hour before light, an hour before shooting time, legal shooting
Oh, for
time.
sure.
So that was it. That was get out there, go to the stand,
Take a
cross
little
your
snooze.
arms, put it on the shooting rail, put your forehead down, take a snooze. Not tethered to the tree, no nothing,
Yeah.
just sleeping in a fucking tree.
Yeah.
15 feet off the ground, stupidest
unsafe as
thing
hell.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah, until the internet came along and told us we had to be safe.
Yeah.
harness on.
So yeah, that was ladder stands is my go-to.
Yeah. Pretty damn cool. Well, okay. That makes sense, especially like for the way you have those cut out for the ladder runs.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of these deer, man, coming in. I mean, the first one, whatever.
I have shot one little 6-point buck, and then just a fistful of does. Since I lost my legs, that has been my hunting career. But this year, the herd is kind of coming back, and I've had such a dry spell where I ate tag soup. I will get 3 tags a year, and I have probably killed 3 deer up until this last year. The side of my garage fridge is just a stack of tags. So
Yeah, just sticking them on there.
Yeah,
Just keep 'em.
Yeah.
We try not to kill healthy does. We're trying to do our part, even though it's 2 hunters against everyone else.
Yeah.
Right.
we try not to kill healthy does. If we see fawns, you know, obviously a button buck first. But I've eaten so much tag soup this year. I just said, or this last year, I said, like, I'm getting it done. If they come out, I'm getting it done.
Something's got to happen.
During shotgun season, I carry a 870 Youth 20 gauge. That's the only thing I've ever hunted with because it's a smaller gun. You can get through some stuff.
Yeah.
I had a pair of twin fawns that tried to fucking snort me, and I just said, "You're done." You're done. And they were behind me in the thicket. I couldn't even see them. I'm just sitting. It was about, I don't know, half hour before dark, and I just heard, and I'm like, "God damn it, what was that?"
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to turn around, and I can't see them, but I can hear them. Like they're only 40 yards away. And I'm like, God, it's
Get
right
out of
there.
here.
And I kid you not, they just huffed at me every 20 seconds for 5 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And then one of them took like 5 steps, and I saw it, and I'm like, crosshairs, you're done.
Yeah.
Boom. And I had a shotgun tag. I could see that it was antlerless. I had a shotgun tag and a bonus antlerless only. I shot. That one immediately dropped. The twin ran out into the food plot, took a right, took another right in front of me. Stop. I tagged out. I'm done. I was the happiest guy ever. Like, so that tells me from I don't know, ethical point of view, just trying to justify it to myself. Like I just left a healthy doe out there who's known to have twins. Yeah, all I did. We say
for the record, you don't need to justify it.
I will, just because that's me, I guess.
Yeah.
And I never shut up. So if I think about a point, like I want to say it.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I get why you made the point.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to contradict that point because my muzzleloader deer was a fat doe.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a head like a cow. So it was Sunday. It was
She
the
was
last
eating
day.
good.
She was so fat she did not leave a blood trail, and I double lunged her.
Really?
Yep. So she came out like 10 minutes before shooting time, and I was hunting in a fence row. She came out in the field. It's funny because I always have things in my head of how things are going to go.
Mm-hmm. How they should play out.
And then my dad is like, keep an eye on this bedding area because they come out of here, you know, all the time. Every time I've hunted there, they come out of this bedding area. Well, I'm looking at it on Onyx Hunt, and I've never shed hunted that spot. I don't know there's a bedding area there. As far as I know, it's a drop off. Mm-hmm. That's the furthest thing from my mind. I'm looking to the right where the field goes down because every year when they turn around, they leave some crops, and I've had trail cams there. I see the deer come out. I just have my eyes on that. Check my phone, looking down.
That's the
And then
point.
I
You
look
tell your
up.
dad he's full of shit.
I look up
They
and
ain't
there's
come from over there.
like 5 does at 50 yards that just come out of that fucking bedding area. And I'm like, God damn it, this is it. Well, as soon as I look up, I'm in a fence row and they're not far away. They saw me and they started kind of trotting, like not full on running, but not walking either. They started the trot and I just put the crosshairs on a big doe on the backside of it. And as soon as she got right there, pow, and she took off, smoke clears. It was muddy as hell, which sucks, walking in those in mud.
Oh yeah, probably just slipping and sliding and
So I went straight out to where she
tracks
was.
on them things, man.
I found the wad from the shotgun shell. I knew I was going in line. I found her tracks. And I don't know, I haven't tracked many deer, but especially being in the short legs, like if I'm tracking a deer, I am droplet for droplet trying to just figure out what happened here. And I probably found 4 droplets of blood following her hoof prints for 80 yards before she hit the timber. And I'm like, I gut shot her. You know, this isn't good. I was upset with myself.
Of course, yeah.
This is not good. As soon as I got to the timber where she went through the brush, I saw like that swath down the side. And I was like, okay, something happened here. Mm-hmm. By that point, it's dark. It takes a long time to cover distance with those short things.
Yeah.
And I saw where she started to go down the hill and there was like a spray. And I'm like, okay, something's happening here. And then she bounced off of an oak tree like she was losing her balance, went down in one of the deepest draws.
Oh, shit.
Dude. And ended
Per
up,
usual.
Yeah, per usual. Ended
Yeah.
up in the creek bed, in the water. But I double lunged her, and she was running, hauling the mail downhill.
She made it that far.
And did not spray a bit.
Crazy.
She was
man.
so fat. She was so fat. It sealed itself back up on the entrance and exit when she didn't lose any blood.
She's just fat
When
bastard over here.
when we went to dress her, you cut her and it just poured out like a 5-gallon bucket of blood.
Really?
Yeah.
All stayed inside of her.
No kidding.
Yep.
Big old nanny.
Big old doe.
Yeah, we call him ever since Mark Reif early in the WCB library called them Big Doe's nannies. We've called them that pretty
Ever
much
since.
ever since. Yeah. Or we got Slickhead from T-Bone.
Yep.
Slickhead. I love calling him
Slickhead's the best. And then me and my buddy Tyler call them bopping bitches sometimes. Big old bopping bitch.
Yep.
So bless their hearts. Big old does, man.
What up?
What is it? Unmarked unit?
Who said that?
Pike County Trophy Doe Hunters.
That was him.
Unmarked
That was
unit.
him. Unmarked unit.
I forgot about that one.
Pretty hilarious.
That is pretty funny.
That's a good. We're due to have them boys probably back in. That was a
for
good
sure.
time.
Yeah.
Just straight humor and good times right there. Unmarked unit. That's hilarious. He hasn't been to the new studio yet.
No, he was at your house last time.
That's hilarious. Yeah, the studio used to be at my house.
Yeah.
So now we actually have room to do this shit. Well, we never really had room before this place.
Well, I remember hearing one of the podcasts where you're like, you can hear my kid in the other room freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, this is a dedicated zone for
Yeah.
Yep.
everything.
That's what it was. But now we can do whatever we want,
Sure, yeah.
I guess. Within reason.
Within reason.
Yeah, within reason. But dude, I love that though, man, that you still like get out and do that. Like I think the first video I ever saw was you walking and like you were shed hunting and then showing that you're in like your prosthetics walking. I'm like, damn, that's pretty hardcore.
So it started 4 years ago. I had I want to shout out to a buddy, Jim Hughes. He's a Jim Hughes antler carver. He carves antlers. He moved from Illinois down to Missouri. He is like the epitome of an outdoorsman. He knows everything. If you have a question about something, I mean, he probably knows like under the shade of a bur oak, you can find this plant that only grows in this region. Like he just knows everything.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah. So when he moved away, I was talking to him about shed hunting, and I wanted to try and walk, and in my full length prosthetics, and it clicked in his head, and we started talking, and he was like, "Dude, I don't live there anymore. I can tell you all of my old public hotspots." So yeah, he.
I'm glad I called that guy.
Yeah. So he clued me in on some really, really good spots, and he knew my situation. He's known me a long time, and he told me like, this is easy walking for you. This is going to be a bitch. You know, check this spot. I haven't been here 10 years, but it used to be
Scale
good.
1 to bitch. Break down each spot.
Right.
Yeah. He could bring up like a map. I'll send him a map like, hey, have you ever shed hunted here? Yep. Where's the good, like it's probably cheating, but where's the good spots to check? And he'll bring it up on his phone and like highlight, they bed here. This is a south facing hillside. And I'm like, hell yeah. So I know exactly where I'm going when I get out there.
That's not cheating. That's efficient.
Yeah.
He told me a spot to check, and
Cheating is shed traps. That's cheating.
That's cheating.
So the first one I found was actually the first time I went out in my full length legs. And I went to this public spot and I started walking. The ground was froze. There was a little bit of snow. Shed hunting works well for me because there's no vegetation. When the ground's froze, that's just as easy walking as you can get. And I didn't walk, 150 yards. And I found a fresh drop of a healthy 8-point side. And I recorded it. It was my first video post as a legless shed hunter. And that moment was like the turning point of, I would say, in my whole situation, like full circle. Like I can do it. I can do the things I used to do. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I might have found like 5 or 6 that year. Some of them from the truck and the Jeep and driving around and stuff. But that was the moment of, A, the first time I started looking on public ground, and B, walking on the full length legs and trying to take advantage of that because you can cover so much more ground.
Oh yeah,
and
I can
you can
only
see
imagine.
so much further at like 5'10" versus 4'2".
Do you ever think about getting like 10-foot tall prosthetics? Just so
That would be cool. That's probably the biggest thing on TikTok is everybody's like, man, if I was you, I'd be as tall as I could. And I've made a couple videos about it. Like, guess what? You can wear stilts to work. No one's going to stop you. Like you can go get stilettos and wear 8-inch high heels. Why wouldn't you do that? Oh, because it's going to make everything harder. Same principle applies.
Yeah.
The prosthetics are set up by someone who knows what they're doing to make you as efficient as possible.
Right.
Yeah, that
I
makes
could be
sense.
7 foot tall. This is actually, because I have long residual limbs, this is about as short as you can be.
Oh, really?
Yep. And that's because I can still drive a vehicle. With the seat all the way back, my right limb is the perfect length to go from gas to brake. I don't want to be any taller or it would make driving difficult.
Okay. Yeah.
So much to think about.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't even
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Right?
It does. There's so much to think about that you'd never think about thinking about.
Yeah. And it's
What do you think about, Judd?
What do I think? I've been thinking about, I think you mentioned this one time, but like The microprocessors in that thing, is there like a default setting that they had those on when you were learning to use them and then they programmed them to you?
They get programmed to you before you try and walk. And then as you walk, like they can put in basically, patient weighs X amount and they have to align it is one of the big crucial things. They have to align it. So you can see the top of that stubby foot. That's called a pyramid. There's one of those on my foot. There's one of those on the knee. And the sensor down here has to work in tune with that computer. So if you put the toe up, it's not going to trigger at the right time. If you put the toe down, it's not going to trigger. And if you think you have two of those, you can change that positioning like 5,000 different ways, and I can't walk for shit.
Whoa.
When the alignment,
So
is
bizarre.
fine-tuned and you get to that magic point, and then get on the computer and program it, and you're set up, dude, it is like walking on a cloud.
Really?
Oh, it's amazing. It really is.
Wow.
So they set it up the way they think that you want. They get it aligned so you're comfortable. And then as you walk, they tune the settings and get it set up. And then, like I said, I can Bluetooth on my phone and change a couple minor settings and stuff that I can get to.
Yeah, I might ask a question. This might be really dumb, but I'm asking it.
Those are good too. I like all those.
When you see people running with prosthetics, they have like those half curved, like bouncy
the
things.
Oscar Pistorius ones.
Yeah, whatever the hell they are. Have you ever thought about something like that, or is that just not work?
So it was when I was going down to Oklahoma the first time to get prosthetics from these people. It was during something called I don't remember butcher the name, the endurance games or something like that. It's like a step below the Paralympics. And since my leg guy down there is so well connected, like he has athletes that he treats that are competing in this and people that are actually in the Paralympics. And here's little old me down there getting a set of legs made. And he's like, hey, you're going to run the 100 meter. And I'm, what? And he's like, yeah, we're not going to give you full length fancy springs and hydraulic knees to return. Like you're just going to run and these will get you set up, but it'd be good for you. It'd be good for you. So I swam a couple events. And it was probably 8 or 10 months after my accident, I ran the 100-meter dash. And
wow,
I had two guys in my heat that fell and ate shit, and I still came in last place.
that's all right.
Yeah, no, it was just like a make it to the finish line thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I could run 100 meters right now.
Hey, I could too, and I guarantee you'd beat me right now.
Oh, for sure.
I have tried the blades, and that is a crazy sensation to feel that spring return.
I bet it is.
Bounciness.
You just see people hauling ass in them, and you're like, wow, I wonder what that's like.
Oh, they can be fast. I've seen some people that easily outrun like a legged athlete.
I believe
Well,
that.
that Oscar Pistorius guy, he was competing in the Olympics, wasn't he? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've heard the name, but I don't know.
He was a South African dude, and he ended up killing his wife, and there's a whole thing. But
I do remember this story now.
but he had like
That's how I know his name. Yeah,
Yeah,
Killed his
yeah.
wife. Okay.
Now,
he had
now
those-
that rings a
those-
bell.
Great
those
dude.
springy legs, and like he was competing against people that just had regular legs, I guess.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, no, that gives an advantage. He's like, it really doesn't. They went through the whole thing, and then it didn't matter because he killed his wife.
I remember this now. Now that you bring it up.
All right, that took a turn. All right.
Sorry to break it down.
No, I'd add some flavor to it. I like it, Judd. Thank you.
So I have tried the blades. Yes.
Okay.
That's cool.
I've
is
always
cool.
said like I didn't run before I lost my legs. Chances are I'm not going to pick it up now as a hobby.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, but
Hey,
But
you
I
never
mean,
know.
Yeah, I would. Hey, I just turned 30. Let's start my running phase.
well, I could see how it would make someone like just out of the pure motivation to do it type thing.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like-
Well, and I have two buddies that go to that clinic that have ran like half marathons. One of the guys actually works
amazing.
at the clinic. He's missing both his legs just like me, and he works at Dream Team Prosthetics, building prosthetics. He gets to use his legs on like the foot pedals and
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask you another question. Then I want to get back to shed antlers here. I'm actually going to ask two questions.
All right.
Well, hurry up. I got questions.
Well, you got questions too?
Yep.
Okay, well, then we might have a few questions before we get to shed antlers. Judd, feel free. We're about to bombard you. First question is it common when you're around other people that have prosthetics, is it common conversation that you guys talk about how you guys lost a limb or whatever?
If you're around, yeah, and I'll try not to come to every question with like a funny story, but I do have one.
But that's okay though.
But yeah, if
We
you
like
if you
funny.
see somebody without a leg, then yeah, like, hey, what happened? That's my first question. What happened, man? I'm not bashful about it.
Right.
I'm assuming somebody that has legs, like an able-bodied person, isn't going to be as comfortable to walk up. But me, I got the golden ticket. I'll bug you. Like, what's your story?
Yeah.
The one time I was on my prosthetics walking out of a restaurant, held the door for a guy that was missing one leg, and he didn't have a prosthetic. He just had his pant leg sewed up on crutches. And it was like, hey, man, what's up? You know, how'd you lose your leg? And he said, oh, I lost my leg in a home invasion. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. You know, hey, have a good dinner. And then we left. We got in the car, and I started laughing like, hold on. He didn't say which side of the home invasion he was on.
Wait, time out. I need the whole story on this.
Yeah,
You
like,
run back in and
was
ask him.
someone robbing you, or were you trying to break into
Or were you
someone's
the
house who
robber?
got shot? Yeah,
Right.
so that was just kind of funny, but
Oh, wow.
that's
That
pretty
is funny.
common practice to ask that question, or at least I do, but I'm really
Yeah.
open about all of it.
What if you had to gauge, like, out of what people you run into, what percentage are like willing to tell you and what percentage are like, nah, I don't want to talk about it?
I don't think I've ever had somebody say they didn't want to talk about it.
Wow, really?
What's interesting is trying to factor the percentages of how people lost limbs and what's the most common cause.
Oh, yeah. What's the most?
You got a guess?
Augers.
Ooh,
I knew a kid in high school that lost his leg to an auger.
work accident.
PTO shafts.
This is
Same
the
thing.
working class podcast. Wonderful. Trains.
Holy shit. Train
Yeah, I would
jumping?
never have guessed that. Like, not train jumping, but like falling asleep on the train tracks. Or I know a guy that worked at a steel mill that somebody sent it down the wrong rail and it just hopped him.
Oh, my
Trains would probably be the most common of the people that I've talked to.
God. Wow.
Trains, and then like the basics car wrecks, and then there's always service members and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Trains
though.
are
I figured
far
would
it'd
have
be
more
never
common.
guessed that.
I figured farm incident related PTO shafts, augers.
I know a guy that was running. He calls it a corn picker. He's from out east. Out, you know, we just call them combines, I guess.
Yeah.
But he was running an antique combine,
Which were
And
corn
was
pickers back in the day.
corn picker.
Yeah.
And he was in front of it. And his name's Joey McCorkle, and he lives out east. And he was in front of it trying to clean it out with a stick or something. And it kicked on or something, and it
Yep.
ended up just eating right
In the
into him.
head.
And he was completely awake and conscious through all of that.
We have a local guy around us that he was younger, corn picker, below the knee, took it off, and he actually set forms for foundations for like 40 years.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Joey
That's
McCorkle, that was his accident might have been 2 years ago. Dude, that guy is honestly, when I go down to Oklahoma to the clinic, before Joey came along, I was the hillbilly. I was the redneck. I was the one going out hunting. Like, there's another guy,
thank God for Joey McCorkle.
Josh Wells lives down in Louisiana, and he's going out in his stubbies, squirrel hunting and stuff, and he hunts. So I mean, they treat people that hunt. But Joey McCorkle is one of those guys, like, is he awake and is he not at work on the clock? He's hunting something.
Really?
Oh, dude, and they hunt deer out there like it's nothing that I've ever heard of. Like, they can run dogs
Dogs, yeah.
and pile
a big
landowner
cult-
tags. They can run dogs and shoot like 12 deer with double-aught buck and then just put them all in the bed of a truck. He's texting me pictures. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude,
That's a big cultural
felony
thing.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Like,
a,
that is
yeah.
crazy.
it's a
Yeah.
big cultural thing.
Down there it is
Dogs.
for sure.
Yeah, so he's a hunting son of a bitch.
Interesting. That breakdown percentage of how, like, that's I would have Midwest working class. We all went farm.
Yep.
You know.
Trains is far more common than I ever would have guessed. So
Wow.
That's insane.
That is
5
crazy.
minutes of the segment from one little question. What's the next one?
Second question: do you now have a foot fetish?
No, and I'm glad my
great
wife didn't
question.
have one when I met her. No, I don't have a foot fetish, but I will say
You're not like licking your wife's toes and shit. Or?
No, I don't think she'd let me if I wanted to. No, but I do notice like everyone else's legs. Like if I see somebody walking kind of funny,
With, like, nice legs?
No, I'm trying to eyeball him. Like, has he got a fake leg? Has he got a
Oh, yeah.
prosthetic? Yeah. Always trying to clue in on
When
that.
someone's like in crutches because they sprained their ankle, are you like, you bitch?
I will talk so much shit
He's
with
just
my
like this.
coworkers. With like coworkers or somebody's like,
Got the boot on or whatever.
Yeah.
I sprained my ankle this weekend.
I work with this kid McCabe that like got kicked in the leg by a horse or a bull or something because he does farming shit. And he was telling me, "Well, I got a bum." Like, fuck you.
Hey, I got two.
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought of one more question. Then Eric, you can ask
Go
me
ahead.
questions, and Judd, feel free. We're having question hour. This is this is Q&A hour here on the podcast. I don't think I've ever bombarded somebody with somebody just blunt questions.
Because we don't know. That's why we have so many questions.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
It's organic. Are you tired of Forrest Gump jokes?
No, not really. I don't get tired of the jokes. People are getting their enjoyment.
That was
out
one of my
what
questions.
they
I'm like,
think.
how many
Well,
Lieutenant Dan questions do you get?
So, and every single person that says or comments on TikTok, whatever, Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of fucked up.
That's the first time they've ever said that. Like, you're getting enjoyment out of that. I'm here to have fun. That's great. But
Right.
you're also like number 11,562. that
Yeah,
said that.
not original. Not original.
I've heard
Yeah.
it before.
I've heard Lieutenant Dan, Patrick Starr, Cotton Hill. That's a big
Hill.
one. Yeah, Cotton Hill.
I don't know that one.
You don't know that one? Oh, you never watched King of the Hill? Hank Hill's dad, Cotton Hill.
Kurt hasn't seen anything.
I've watched that. I
Got
forgot about
shins
that.
blown off.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Killed Fitting Man.
I forgot about that.
I've had so many people on TikTok ask me, like, say I killed Fitting Man, just because that's the famous line from that guy.
Damn.
But yeah,
How pissed would you be if I pulled a joke on you and just named the title of this podcast Lieutenant Dan?
I'd let you.
I would never do that to
He
you.
doesn't
man.
give a fuck.
I would never do that to you.
Yeah. No, I was designed mentally to make the most of this situation because I just don't give a shit, and I
Yeah.
make the light of all of it. I think it's all
Right.
hilarious.
Well, you
It's
probably
so
beat the
awesome.
fuck out of half people on TikTok that are talking shit.
some of the best TikToks are just funny stuff or stuff that takes people by awe. I have one
Yeah.
video that I will say, like, I've got a fistful of them, over 1 million. My biggest video,
That's impressive.
dude, like 32 million in 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah.
32 million?
32 million in like 2 weeks' time. I did the math because you can get your analytics and look at the view time.
Yeah.
I did the math on the view time. In 2 weeks, I ate the time of 2 working men's full career from start to retirement. if you did the math on like the work hours, dude, I figured that out. I got guilty. Like, that's how much time I stole from the world that they were not productive people. Watching my stupid ass video.
Was that one of those videos too where you're like, this ain't gonna do shit?
You know who's
It was one of them that I randomly posted, and it was funny. They actually took it down like 30
course they did,
seconds
'cause
after I
China
posted
hates
it.
people with disabilities.
And then I had to appeal it, and they reinstated it. And I
Had to
woke up
appeal
and it had
it like you're in
5
court?
million.
No way.
Yeah, it was. It doesn't. It shows her shoulder, but it's my daughter in the bath, and kids have bath crayons. And there's a little house
that's
drawn
a
on the
funny
side of
one.
the tub. There's a house drawn on the side of the tub and 2 stick figures. And I'm like, who's that? Mommy. And I said, who's next to mommy? And then she's silent. Then I turn the phone around to me and I say, you know, now I got to wait for her drawing skills to improve to figure out who that dude with legs is. And then I zoom out because it ain't dad. And they took that video down initially for like child endangerment. child nudity,
fuck
something.
off.
Stupid.
And I appealed it, and they said, okay, we reviewed it and it's fine. And that video blew up, and
That's the
it's
funniest shit I've ever
gone
seen.
ever.
Oh
So
my
like
God.
those are the ones. It's just stupid shit that pops.
I
in
gotta
my
go
head.
through. I gotta go through your videos on TikTok.
I hope you with the numbers you have on your TikTok, you probably won't see a difference from this podcast because your numbers are so big. But I hope this episode just
Sure.
improves your TikTok numbers.
I'm just
a
here to
little
have
slight.
fun and to educate people and tell people about, you know, my story and what's possible.
We're
Show
banned on
people-
TikTok for the rest of the month.
Oh, dude, that sucks.
Yeah, so when we get back on, I'll have to cut out a clip of this so you can put it on your TikTok to give us some win
Oh
boss
yeah,
boss
I'll
clout.
stare right at the camera. TikTok, please stop taking down quality content.
It's just,
Hey,
there's
bingo.
just deer in it.
That's it.
There's just deer. They don't show dead deer.
Antlers we've never showed.
They took down my first video holding a shed antler.
I believe that. I've had most of our videos are clean. Like if there's a blood splatter from an entry and exit hole, I try to cut that out. I post a video of creepy. It's just basically me appreciating this deer I shot.
Holding a dead deer.
But it's
ridiculous.
clean. It's not. There's nothing gruesome in it. And in an hour, it had almost 100,000 views, and then
Boom, gone.
gone. Community guidelines. So I posted a.
So stupid.
actually, the one that got us banned, I posted a montage of like us because it's been a little over a year since we bought this building, and we're buying all the building material. So it shows me, Eric, and Scotty, and a bunch of the guys, and Judd, and Nick. All it's you guys cutting the butcher block and us buying the butcher block, and then there's like deer heads in the background while we're doing shit, and that's what got us banned.
Have you ever tried to appeal it?
I've tried to appeal. I did, but I figure they're just Chinese pieces of shit, and then don't like us. So
I will.
and I only
will
say
not-
that, and I don't, nothing against Chinese people, but they don't understand China TikTok runners to understand American culture and deer hunting. Every time I do it, I'm like, deer hunting is a very strong part of American culture where we're from. That's how I try to do it because I figure they don't know.
I try and tread lightly because I'm scared to death to lose my account.
You got more to lose.
Yeah, so I mean,
we ain't got shit.
We have 17,000 followers. You're over 500,000.
Well, I'll make my own post too. Everybody should go follow the Working Class Bowhunter podcast and tune in because it's awesome.
Bingo.
I've been telling people that for
I'll
like
cut
a
that
month.
clip right there.
Can we get you like doing a cartwheel in the studio or something?
I've been telling people for like a month, like, you guys need to check these dudes out.
You got to make a TikTok
They cuss,
here.
they drink, they're hilarious, they poke fun at one another and fuck around, and they talk about hunting and shit. I got a buddy, Will Dalrymple. I also have to. Did you see my video of the Dalrymple hike?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, all right. So I'm just self-filming as I'm shed hunting. And it's like, man, what a great day for a Dalrymple hike. What's a Dalrymple hike? Oh, well, it's where you go out shed hunting, but you don't find anything. So at that point, it just becomes a glorified hike. Hey, Dalrymple, what you think about that? Hey, fuck you. Just but that's a Dalrymple hike because he successfully gets out shed hunted by a legless dude every year.
That's awesome.
Dude,
He's got to feel like a piece of shit for sure.
He's one of my best buddies, and he's one of the only people that I will go shed hunting with. Mm-hmm. I prefer to shed hunt alone, but I'll shed hunt with that man. He came out with me this year to try and help me find the other side of my bighorn, and we were unsuccessful, but we had a good day walking.
dude, you're probably hard as fuck to keep up with. I mean, you have to
In my short legs, yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong here.
Depends on what legs he's got on that.
Yeah.
day.
Definitely.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm assuming your whole body physically you're probably in much better shape just from your natural getting and operating throughout your day, right?
I'm in very good physical shape for operating and getting around my day, yes.
And that probably makes you physically more in shape than the rest of the three lard asses sitting at this table.
Facts.
Because it takes less effort for our fat asses to go from point A to point B.
Hey, I threw my back out tying my shoes one day, okay?
I sneezed and had a hernia once. I'm just kidding. I didn't have it.
Hey, question. Do you ever have to tie your shoes again?
Dude, I tie them when I buy them.
And that's it.
I don't take my shoes off at home, no.
Dude, I'd have
take 'em off.
slip-on Vans on those things and just be rocking.
So I am in really, really good shape. You know, functional or fashion. I don't have a six-pack. I'm a normal, average dude. But when it comes to walking on rough terrain, I'll never forget the first time I shed hunted with Will. We went out to where he turkey hunts, and we walked. I track it on my phone. We walked like 3.5, 4 miles. And at the end of it, I'm like, hell yeah, like this was a hike. This is good. I'm sweating in my sockets. Like I might have to do some stretches. I'm going to feel this tomorrow. And I asked him, and he's a little huskier than me, but he's just an average dude too. And I asked him like, hey, you know, tell me, give it to me straight. Like, how do you feel about that? Was that an endurance hike? Was that totally normal? Was that, you know, no big deal? Because I didn't know how I stack up as being a full-time prosthetic user.
Yeah.
What's normal to me is not to him. And he was just like that. Oh, that was nothing. That was just a walking park. You know, like, okay, well, hey, at least now I know. It just takes so much more effort for me to do that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to shed hunting on the stubbies, going through like bedding areas and thick brush, dude, I've found a public spot this year. The first time I walked into it, I found 2-year-old antlers. Like I'm just getting where other people aren't.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Carving out tunnels. Where's that public spot at?
Yep.
Yep.
Nice.
I have
Hey, that way.
Yeah.
Over where it's at.
I have hunted
New Hampshire.
If I had to guess, I probably walked a little over 80 miles this year.
Wow.
God
Yeah.
damn.
And
I love it, man.
It's more than I
public
walk in a
spots-
year.
In public spots from, Chicago to Springfield. I shed hunted one morning in Missouri.
That's badass.
Dude, if I got a chance, if I got an hour to kill,
you're out there.
that's a half hour of covering ground and trying to see something I haven't seen. I'd calculated it because I've been thinking about points and how I did this year, what my own statistics were, just breaking it down. I found like 8 or 9 antlers in the first half hour of a hunt. Well, if that's not motivation to just get out every chance you get,
yeah.
Right.
to just take a quick walk
And go, yeah.
and yeah,
Because you travel a lot for work, correct?
that is my benefit. I travel a lot for work. I start my days super early because I got to work so far away from home.
What do
And
you want to share what you do for your
hell
day job?
yes, I love my job. I am by trade. I'm a union pipe fitter.
Oh shit!
out
man.
of local 353. I was a year and a half
Shout out to the
in.
pipe fitters out there listening.
Yep, I was a year and a half in when I lost my legs, and they let me keep going to school, but obviously I wasn't working. And then I've been working for the
Yeah,
same.
good on them because it'd be fucked if they didn't.
At least they let you finish out your apprenticeship and everything. That's awesome.
So over 5 years ago, I got hired by the company I work for now, and I travel all over the place doing HVAC, and my big niche is backup power generators. So I
Badass.
travel to work on generators and do all that stuff. So yeah, in my work travels, it's man, if I find a public spot on Onyx Hunt between where I'm working and home, I got a wife and 2 young kids, so I'm always trying to make them the priority.
Of course.
Another priority is my mental health. It's really good for my mental health to go walk for an hour or 2 before coming home sometimes. So I hit it for having 2 kids that young. My work schedule, like just the stars aligned for me to hunt my ass off this year.
It's awesome.
It's very cool, man. Hey, can you do me a favor? I want you to put like fake Sasquatch feet on the bottom of your prosthetic.
Hey, you can't tell me you never thought about it.
I've thought about it. Yeah, I've thought about that. I've thought about trying to put deer hoofs on the bottom of them.
Like two each on
Yeah,
them.
something like that, just to look cool. But
Come on.
See if you can get around better like
Bigfoot
that.
thing. I want a Bigfoot craze to just explode through the Midwest.
I have.
They were in Missouri this morning. I found some in Indiana because you were just traveling for work.
That would be good. Yeah, yeah. I'm probably not going to pull off a bank heist. They can just do like footprints, and it's the guy with no legs.
Yeah. But the Sasquatch thing in public would be pretty
That would be. That would like because they
It'd
would
blow up like fucking crazy.
They would
around here.
immediately think like, hey, somebody's trying to fake this. Well, the tracks go for 4 miles. They wrap around a circle and come back to the hard road, and we don't know where he went.
to tire tracks. It's insane.
You could have
Bigfoot's
some
driving.
Bigfoot tracks. You could have some mountain lion tracks.
Yeah. A mountain lion and a Bigfoot walking simultaneously together.
We had an actual lion around here. It was insane.
An African lion?
Yeah. He's got all kinds of paw prints.
It's fucked up.
Bears.
But I love it. So let's talk sheds, man. You got a pile of sheds here on the floor.
I got a pile of sheds.
Unless we're missing a story we need to tell before the sheds.
Well, I think we're missing a question.
Oh, Eric probably had one. He's going to go pee. He just walks out. What the fuck,
So,
Eric?
I brought antlers that have, a story to tell, or there's something cool about it, or somebody who actively shed hunts would just like appreciate getting to hold it.
Yeah.
That first one I brought is a broke off main beam that, it's got some character to it. It's nothing to write home about, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I found that on public ground in the middle of March. And that to me is too cool because that means that I'm shed hunting during prime shed season where someone else hasn't been.
Yeah.
Which is I'm smart enough to read a map and go there, or B, I'm putting in more work than other people would. Because if somebody did shed hunt this, maybe they stopped, 3 fields ago and just did a mile loop and called it a day. And now here I am, a mile and a half.
That's crazy. To break off your beam there by close to the base. I like that.
That's a
good one. That's a good
weird
find. Okay, that's
These are from a long time ago, but that's the smallest pair I've ever found. And so my dad got me into shed hunting, and we always, everybody fucks with everybody in this culture. We always fuck with one another. You meet back at the 4-wheelers. Did you find any? Like, oh, I found a fucking booner sap. They're too heavy. I'm not going to carry them back to the truck or whatever. And I remember I found these side-by-side set, just this tiny little 4-corn. I put them in my pocket like, no fucking way. I just found a pocket pair.
yeah.
So I drove back, and I met up with my pops, and I was like, yeah, I found a pair, just like we always do. And he's like, bullshit, and I was like, no, actually, I fucking did. And I pulled them out of my pocket, like, check that out. So
That is impressive.
that was pretty cool.
The pocket pair. What's up with this skull?
I found this coal on public land, and the only reason I brought it, so my dad shot a maybe 150s class 10 point with a muzzle loader about 10, maybe 12 years ago. We are a huge fan of European mounts.
Yeah.
So we European mounted it, set it in the basement, and like 7 years later, when a skull can sit perfectly like this, 7 years later, I bumped it. And when it fell, it shed one side right in front of me.
Really?
7 years later. And I'm thinking like, oh shit, I'm in fucking trouble here. So I'm looking at it, and it legit shed right there. And the other side you can see the pinhole marks. Like he was just right on the edge of shedding when my dad shot him. My dad ended up gluing it back on. But anyways, that's just bizarre.
Yeah.
I found this deadhead on public ground this year, and it's got the pinholes around it.
Really?
So what I'm doing, and it's getting to the end of season now, but I have one of those like ceramic infrared heaters in my garage.
Oh, the pinholes. I see.
Yeah. So I am essentially cooking that thing because, you know, when bone gets dehydrated, it comes apart a lot easier.
Yep.
I'm trying to cook that sucker every year for the rest of my life until those horns shed.
Oh yeah.
Because I've tried to yank them off. I've tried to pull on them, and they don't. Kurt, if you pull one of those off right now, you can keep it.
I thought you said if you pull one of them off, I'm leaving.
But that's
Can I
just,
give it a little twist?
yeah, I don't care as long as you're not going to break the skull plate, but you can tell if they're going to shed.
I mean, it's
It's
stiff.
sturdy. No, I yanked on it when I found it. But you can see that's the exact markings around the entire outside.
Impressive.
That big one I found this year has that same thing. He
does?
right before he shed. Yeah.
How big was
Yeah.
that buck? 88?
188. Yeah.
Fuck. That's a giant.
Yeah.
So that's
bizarre.
That's a good story. That's a fun one.
rare, random story, but that's my project.
I enjoy the show and tell aspect. This is
It's
fun.
kind of fun. Yeah.
This is
I'm
fun.
glad I brought a shitload of
This
horns.
is fun. Okay, I see one I like.
Well, okay, time out because he's like, oh, I brought a boatload of horns, and then what's that?
Oh, you're gonna have to edit that out, dude. I got hit with allergies so bad.
dude, you're
no,
good.
We're good. Do that.
No,
all
and
the
then you
time.
just put these on the table. I'm like,
Yeah, no, these aren't what I brought.
You
I brought
found a
horns
boatload
that you
this
would
year.
really want to see.
okay,
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna start with some that my dad found that are just cool to see. Here's one that he wanted me to show off because he just found it this year,
Okay.
and it's just an impressive thick mainframe 6. And we've got
goddamn.
Oh, wow.
we got pictures of that deer for the past 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
that's a giant 6.
All he's ever been is a mainframe 6, and
No
we've never
kidding.
found one of his sheds until now.
That's a hammer.
That's a hammer 6.
That's a beer can
Oh, for sure, base.
base hammer.
Next one I hand you is going to be a beer can base. Big 6.
That's a giant 6.
I like that. Big 6s are cool. On my list.
You have to shoot him for sure if you ever seen him.
One of my favorite things about the hunting culture with whitetail is nicknames. Everybody has
You like that?
nicknames. Oh, everybody has nicknames for their deer, their sheds they found. So this next one is just called Fatty.
Okay. Fatty.
And Squirrel Patch. What's the saying with
Fucking
that?
Squirrel Patch.
Fucking
Squirrel patch.
Dana Pace.
Look at this.
Look at the bee hole on it too.
Beehole on it? Yeah.
Oh my
You want to talk about mass.
This thing's got a bee hole.
And it breaks my heart to even tell you. My dad found the other side of that the next year. And at one point in time, I guess he decided to sell a few, and he sold the other side of that.
Was it untouched?
It was unchewed. It was just really faded because it laid out a year. Faded and greened, but
Yeah.
What's that? Look at the base on that too.
I know.
How big was that fucking thing?
Dude,
I'm so glad I brought these because I could just fantasize about them and hold them and talk about them for so long. I
Wow.
think sheds are just a priceless.
Quit looking at it.
dude. Dana would be the bee hole. I'll
Yeah.
have to blur that
Quit
out.
looking at the bee hole.
That would make Dana cry.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
that's
That's
big-
insane.
That is the one we call Fatty.
Dude, that could be a different year off of the first set I ever found.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a big deer.
Have you seen any of these yet?
This next shed has a story, and if anyone wants to call me a liar,
You're a liar.
I will not fucking blame you a bit. I won't.
I thought you were going to say I'll fight you.
No, I'll
punch
just
you in
let
the
you call
nose.
me a liar. My wife and I found this together. This is the only antler that has joint ownership because we watched it fall off his head
Really?
on May 1st.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yup. May 1st, and I'll never forget that because it's one of my best friends growing up's birthday. May 1st, we're driving the back roads going home from my dad's house. We see a bachelor group run across the field, and there's a heavy 8 out front wearing both sides. And we both just like fucking buck. And I can see it in my head. I wish I had it on film. When he hopped the first ditch onto the dirt road, it popped off his head. And then when he bounded again, it bounced off his haunches. and then he went into the timber, and it landed in the ditch on the other side of the road. And my wife and I were both, she was my girlfriend at the time, just in awe. And drove up there, opened the door, glance in the woods, like, did the other side fall off? Grab that fucker, let's go.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that is, every hunter is going to have their bucket list items of things they want to find, things they want to see. I got to see a deer. I know, it's almost like you had that drop tine or something.
This guy said the deer herd wasn't that healthy where he's at.
Dude,
Yeah, you guys,
I beg to differ.
they're all malnutrition and big.
These are all from the farm in Winchester and Fieldville, Iowa.
yeah.
New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
So
Rhode Island. Mhm.
that is my, whenever you're shed hunting with somebody else, somebody sees it first.
Yeah.
That is the only antler that I can even think of that has joint ownership because we both watched it fall off his head.
He was super tight too. Like, look at, I bet you was sitting.
I got one time I was shed hunting, actually on lunch break with a coworker, and I looked over and seen the shed, and I go, "There's a shed," but he was closer to it, and he picked it up, and it was this big 6-point side, 6 points on one side, and he's like looking at it. I'm like, "Hey, dude, I spotted it.
Give me that antler, that's mine."
And he did hand it over to me, but I'm like, "Hey, there's a shed," and he ran over and grabbed it, and I was like, "Oh, you ain't fucking getting away with this." But he was cool. Like, he's like, "You did see it."
Right.
All right, so you got a kick out of a broke off main beam?
I like
Yep.
that.
All right.
What the fuck? You found a base?
Dude, my dad
That's a base and a
mass of
brow.
all these, man.
my dad found that in the middle of a picked cornfield.
No fucking way.
He has better luck than me. He literally stopped the four-wheeler.
Wow.
He stopped the four-wheeler to take a break and drink a beer. He stopped the four-wheeler.
That's a cool find right there, man.
We have one picture of that antler, of that deer, and it's during the rain, so he's all wet, and then the picture's kind of blurry, but you can just see that the one side is just brow, and we never knew. Like, did he grow that way?
He
or
broke
did
that
he
off
snap it off?
early.
He snapped that off.
That's the definition of a broken main beam right there.
That is a giant fucking deer that snapped his mane.
Early.
That's early. That is
Like velvet?
I mean, I think
Just
it'd be after,
out of velvet?
It'd be after velvet.
He got hit by a car or something.
Had
wild.
to have.
Something major. That's a thick antler,
Because
man.
usually when you think of broken main beam, you think like halfway up and it snapped off.
Yeah, or just the fork at the end.
Not at the fucking base.
Not at the base of a coat.
He got
cannon.
smacked by something.
Yeah.
Someone shot at him.
Hell, if you took this to the airport, they probably think it's a weapon.
That is,
Someone tried to poach that deer.
like I said, I brought in some real once in a lifetime stuff, and we also got, just because we're always out in the woods, my dad found 2 heads locked up. I found a dead head with
crazy.
a muzzy 4-blade buried in the brain pocket.
No shit.
And one of the craziest ones is we found a dead head. It wasn't like considerable size, so I don't know what you guys do with them. It still had some hair on it. Just chuck it over next to the woods. Don't make sure the squirrels don't get it, but let it rot away the rest of the way, and then
Sure.
it can come inside or go in a flower garden. Well, like coming out of the skull, you'll see tendons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it'd been sitting out there for like a year, and I went over to make sure the squirrels weren't chewing on it, and it looked like one of those tendons was sticking right out of the forehead, and I grabbed it, and it's a fucking tine.
Oh, really?
There's
Probably how he died.
there's there's pictures of it on a Facebook group, but it's about an inch and a half long. Fucking antler tine was buried in this thing's forehead. It didn't enter the brain cavity. It just went into the sinuses, but right up front. That is one of
that's
the
nuts.
craziest things ever.
I held a shed at the Wisconsin show this year. I don't know if you were standing with me or not. It had a broadhead in the burr out the
I think I saw you
base.
posted that.
Yeah, and I need to make another post with it. I can't remember his theory. It had been shot and like kind of in the pedicle, and the broadhead was protruding. And when it shed, it like took the
That would be a
Broadhead.
crazy
I
fun.
do remember that shed now.
crazy, huh?
Yeah.
It wasn't a real big shed.
No, but it still had a broadhead sticking out of it.
Not crazy. What else you got? You got more down here.
Oh, I do. All right. Dana Pace has a large 8-point pair.
Have you ever met Dana?
I have not.
Okay.
Oh, you guys got
Dana
me.
Pace has a large 8-point pair, correct? Mm-hmm. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I actually. I'll tell some details later. I know the deer actually.
You do?
Yeah.
Is it straight typical
Yeah.
8, or is there any extra tines?
Clean 8.
What's the score?
164 or 166.
With how much spread?
I don't know. Or is it bigger than that? 168?
I don't remember.
He won.
So
It's high 60s is a clean 8. It's got 14
high
inch twos.
60s, clean 8.
Yeah.
When you score sheds, you score them with an 18-inch spread. Is that correct?
I don't know for sure.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So, well, if that's true, if his scored in the...
Let me text him, see if he'll respond
Yeah.
while we're here.
Call him.
I could call him.
Because my dad, and a lot of these are things my dad found, but he hits it just as hard as I do. It's where I get it from. I have, like, potentially top 5 in the world, 8 points. I wouldn't bet the farm on it, but I'd bet some considerable money on it.
Bet the tractor on it.
Well, you guys, like, just looking at the deer around here and what you guys do and get involved, you'll be able to tell me, but he's glancing. Like, that is just fucking impressive.
We'll see if he responds. I just texted Dana. For hopefully quick here, he can respond.
Dude.
That's why I didn't want to lay him on the table. I wanted
Yeah.
the shock factor from Kurt.
Ooh.
Dude.
Damn. All right. Let me hold them motherfuckers.
See, and that's why I brought him, because anyone that appreciates it.
Jeez, look at those 2s and 3s.
We rough scored that at 168 and change with an 18-inch spread. So you got to think when it's on the deer, that'd be a 175.
Wow.
or
Holy
maybe.
fuck.
These, I don't want to say they're bigger than Dana's. Dana's were mass heavy, not tine
Yeah.
heavy like this. I'm trying to get them on our camera here in the studio.
They're too big, Kurt.
I know they are too. Wow. That's up there, dude. Some of the biggest 8.
That's a big ass 8.
Wow.
My dad is convinced that we have the sheds from the year before. I'm not.
Do you know the deer?
That deer never got saw, never got harvested, never heard about it. I mean, it's small town, Marshall County, Illinois. You kind of hear about big deer that get killed. As far as I know,
Nobody's.
that's a ghost.
That's a clean
slammer.
8. That's
Hold on,
a
Eric.
clean 8.
Those sheds got found, 2011, 2012.
Damn. Got it.
That's a
They,
big...
they had to be almost touching. Look at that.
You're a little tight on your bases. There you go.
Still, though.
Yeah, still damn close. Slammer 8. All right, did he respond? Oh, shit. I thought he responded.
That's a big ass 8.
That's a giant 8, man. Woof.
Yeah, Dana fucking loses his mind over them. That's a giant.
How far were these sheds apart?
That my dad, I don't know how many miles, but he searched for weeks
Oh, really?
Oh,
looking for
have
the other
to.
side.
I bet.
And I want to say the other side was 3/4 of a mile away.
No kidding.
Fucking-
3/4 of a mile away, and my dad was tired as hell and went over by this deadfall to sit on it and take a break, and that was laying on the other side.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
You have to think, though. You could see that from, you'd think you'd see it from a mile away.
You'd think
Whatever
you
way
would,
it's
but
sitting, but-
like anybody out there that shed hunts knows how well those things can hide.
They just, you find
Oh,
the
yeah.
small ones, and then you're pissed because you didn't find the big ones.
Remember that guy? I think it was Wisconsin also. He's like, check out this shed. And it was like 3/4 inches.
Yeah, I would love to find a button.
Here's
Oh, it
Dana.
was
I have-
literally like this.
I have technically found a spike, but it was bigger than these. These are
Right.
probably my smallest antler. And the only reason I found them is because I was walking this creek bed and I kicked deer up off the bed. Well, that's one of my golden rules when you see deer that especially you kicked up off a bed,
Probably a shed in there.
you got to go see that. Like,
Hey,
it's
Dana
just-
said, what did each one of these measure separately? Do you know?
no.
He said one was 74 and one was 72 with about 4 inches chewed off. So,
Well, text him the picture of these.
oh, here.
Did you take a picture of me holding them?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I was down in a creek bed and I kicked some deer up, and it was at the top of like one of those Marshall County mountain motherfucker hills. Well, goddamn it, I got rules, I got principles. I have to walk up this damn hill now. It was before I lost my legs, obviously, but I walked right up the hill, and as soon as I got up to where they were, both of those were like right next to each other.
The small ones, you're saying?
Yeah, these small ones. Yeah,
Dude, I'm still mind blown by that 8 set.
I know they're just the main beam, the wraparound.
Here, hold them up.
carries the
Hold,
main-
hold them up just for podcast sake. I want to take a picture of you on the mic with these. This is crazy.
Now hold your legs up too at the same time.
You want them like on the mic?
Stand up.
Stand up.
No, I'm kidding. Don't stand up.
How would they be on his head about like that?
Yeah, 18-inch spread way short changes that deer.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it
What
does.
is that,
Sure.
a buck 88 point?
It's damn close.
Fucking
It's
dumb,
damn
dude.
close.
We scored him when he first found him.
I can't even hardly believe what I'm looking at.
I mean, that's got to be a high 70s. Let's see. I texted Dana a picture. Good loud, he says.
Good Lord.
Here, I can probably call Dana.
Call him. Can you plug him in?
He's going to have his phone in his left hand.
Let me see. Let me ask him.
Yeah, 18-inch spread on that thing is
Well,
short chain. I mean,
I'm not a professional scorer.
I'm not either.
But I think that's how you're supposed to measure shit.
Dana will know.
Or
He's
Bucky
always
or
busy.
something.
He's always busy. Yeah,
But
Bucky.
I
Bucky
believe
would
if
know.
I remember
Oh, he probably
right, it was 168 and change with an 18-inch spread.
on this set.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I think that might be a little bigger than Dana's. We'll see if we can call him.
What are the
Ask-
beam lengths on that thing?
Oh, he's in an awards banquet right now.
Long. I don't know, dude. Long ass time ago, but that is probably
He can't do it.
that's probably one of our prized sets that hang in the basement.
Oh, it's got to be.
He's got those damn overachieving kids.
Yeah, this kid's all trying to accomplish things in life,
Be president.
and he's all
shit.
supporting them.
Yeah, what a loser.
Dumbass.
We're here doing a podcast like everybody else in the country nowadays.
All right,
Let's see the next one.
antlers with nicknames.
Okay.
I just talked to a guy earlier today because I work with another guy who works for the railroad. I'm playing with their generators, and I asked him like, "Hey, do you deer hunt?" And he was like, "Yeah, I deer hunt." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna be on this podcast later. I got a duffel bag and some badass shed antlers. Do you want to see them? Like, I want to show these off."
Yeah.
I showed him this one. I told him our nickname, and he said we have a buck that we call Flamethrower. Do any of you guys have a buck you call Flamethrower?
No.
Imagine an antler that looks like fire.
I already know what you're talking
Let's
about.
just go right back to when you was like 7 years old. You got to draw a deer
Yep.
with fire antlers.
Yep.
Are you ready to see it in real life and hold
Yeah,
it?
I'm thinking of David Blanton's buck he killed. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Yeah. This is sweet. I'll pull it up here. Wow.
That's a random weirdo,
Holy fuck.
and we call that Flamethrower.
Holy shit.
It's hard to tell exactly how that would sit on his head.
Imagine that.
Yeah, he's got
By
that
your,
weird-
your thumb would be the brow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like this. That's how it'd sit.
Do you imagine that deer walking at you?
Wow. We got to post some pictures of this.
That's an odd one.
Here, where's the look?
I mean, what's his 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 8, and 9?
Just squiggles, man.
Whoa, man. Squiggles. Here, let me pull up a picture of David Blanton
That's
shot
freaking
a buck.
bizarre.
That is Flamethrower. That's another one that's been down in our basement for 10, 15 years. Probably 4 or 5 times a year, I'll be over at my old man's house, and we will just randomly walk downstairs, pick up antlers, and talk about them.
And he's got a broken one, too.
Yep.
I probably won't be able to find it. I don't know what they call the deer. I just typed in buck, but the dude's killed 1 million deer. So
You just Google the word buck.
no, David Blanton buck.
Isn't it so crazy? Like, what causes shit to grow like this?
I
On
don't
deer.
know, but I'm in love with it.
I figured it
Right.
would pop up because it was within a couple of years. Never mind. He killed a buck that kind of had like.
I've seen
similar
other deer
look.
like that kind of get the squiggles, but that one's just
That's how creepy he is.
Creepy has that a little bit, yeah.
too weird not to talk about.
That that reminds me of like the Olympic flame, like the statue
Yeah.
of it,
Weirdo. That is one. This year I found, there's that fine line of like what's typical, what's non-typical.
Yeah.
Sure.
Somebody says I found a non-typical shed. This year is probably the first year I ever found one that I would call non-typical, and it was fucking squirrel patch shoe to shit. But it was a random spot that nobody told me about that I found on Onyx Hunt, and I was 2 miles from the fucking truck. I don't care if it was a chewed up sliver of a spike. I was happy to find it.
Yeah.
Right, oh,
Yeah, it was
And
back in there.
I found it, and it had two tines sticking up, and the brow tine was pointing down. And I was like, what the fuck is that? It's kind of backwards. And I walked up and grabbed it, and that's all it was a brow tine, and then it goes down into 2 little paddles. And usually I've seen that before on deer that get injured or something, but they're fat, they're regressing, they're unhealthy, something's going fucking weird. This was a young deer that had like
Messed up pedicle
small
or
bases. It wasn't gnarly like it fucked up in velvet. That's just the way it grew.
That's what's so badass about antlers.
I forgot to bring it in, but I found that antler and a bow release.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I found somebody's release.
Damn it.
Yeah, in a random spot.
That's awesome. Dude, that's a good fun. That's a fun collection of antlers.
Yeah, it is.
I kind of like the show and tell type thing too.
I do. What else we got? We got a couple more.
All right. This one, buddy.
That's a slammer.
Yep.
This is the first shed I found this year. I found it on accident going out to check trail cams. I was not going out to actively shed hunt. This was on January 17th.
So
And it
early.
had fresh red blood. And I have a picture of him like 30 hours before I found it walking with this side and this side only.
Really?
I probably burned 10 miles because I knew the direction he came from. The last
direction
time he was
going.
wearing this one and not another one, but I rough scored that one at 73.
It's a stud.
Woo, boy.
And I have pictures of that buck. He's got that split on his G2 every year, and he's doing nothing but getting bigger. He was about that exact same size last year. He just packed on a little more mass.
That's
And
like one of
he's
them bucks that's a dead giveaway because of that G2.
Yeah, he's a early shedder because I didn't know which one it was.
This isn't a super old deer, is it?
I don't think so, no. But a couple years ago,
You might have yourself a 200 incher on the way, buddy. That deer might pop.
that is not in a spot you can hunt.
Not on the spot anybody can hunt.
Correct. I mean, there's farms around it, because like I just came from southern central Iowa, where they have chunks of public ground that are big enough to get lost in. Mm-hmm. Where I come from, central Illinois, like your biggest public chunk is what, 500 acres, maybe
6 acres.
Yeah.
Like the surrounding
Yeah.
farms, there is no deer that is
Not worth traveling
specifically-
out of state for.
Yeah, no, just stay home. There's huge deer in Mexico.
Just
Go down
stay
I heard that. Canada's
Yeah.
got some good
God
ones
damn.
too in
Hell
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that.
that's in an interesting spot that off the air I can elaborate on.
Okay.
But you cannot hunt that spot. Areas around it, yeah. But I got trail cam pictures of another deer every bit as big as that. In the same
That
spot.
deer's gonna blow up, dude. It's already blown up, but it's gonna pop, I bet.
I bet he didn't gain 8-10 inches from the year before. He looked
Wow.
the exact. If I show you an old trail cam photo of him, and
But
I
dude,
mean,
sometimes all it
by
takes is
old-
1 year and they got 40 inches.
I think
on.
you're right though. I think he's a younger deer.
It seems that it doesn't look like a real massive old buck. Like
no, but the character of it, the dark lines, and he's almost got like, I call it moose grain. It's
beautiful.
When you get a dark horn that has
and
those
it kind
heavy,
of his tips
heavy
wide
veins.
out and stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's just a gorgeous antler, and I found it, like I said, early season on
Yeah, that's
accident.
It's about as pretty as an antler as you'll get.
So
right
when
there.
your year
Yeah, it is.
starts with almost a 75-inch, like, okay, well, it's game on. I don't have to really.
yeah,
beat
I'm
it.
already happy. We're
Yeah.
good.
I'm going
No,
back to bed.
I wanted to say that. I'm hoping Dana will listen to this, but he has his 80 and 80 rule. I've adapted that. I want to do like 5 and 50. Like that's all I need.
I like that.
5 and
Yeah,
50.
let's be realistic with these expectations.
Working class expectations.
Yeah.
For 5 and 50. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I like that. Big fan. Dana will be proud.
I found some like a big chewed up antler on public, but the first year I started walking on the tall legs, and I found one in a public spot. Like, this is cool, but I didn't hit it hard. The next year, I told myself, like, it's on. I am hitting it hard, looking on Onyx Hunt and finding places to go, and I'm making time to actually go. And I tracked it mile per mile, so I knew exactly how far I had walked. I walked 34 miles before I found my first shed on foot.
Damn.
Oh,
I
damn.
walked
Sounds like
my
me.
ass off, and it paid off. It is,
Damn.
yeah, and it had been sitting there for like at least a couple weeks, but I walked 34 miles of sweating and cussing and fighting, and I walk up on that, and it was like, okay, it's all worth it now.
It's a good
All
antler.
worth it.
Totally worth it.
Gappy some bitch.
Yeah, and his G2 points in, and his main beam points up, so he kind of looks like a little protractor action.
I like
Kind of
it.
Texasy.
Flat beam, man.
Yeah, just straight up and then
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
But his
Yeah.
beam just comes flat.
So I walked 34 miles to find that shed, and I heard on another podcast, like, people like bringing memorabilia and shit, and if you don't care, I want to leave that here and give it to you guys.
Oh, no way,
No.
man.
Oh, yeah.
You're not
that's-
leaving this here.
That's 35 miles on 2 fake legs to find that, and I'd be
dude.
honored. You ain't getting like You ain't getting those other ones, yeah.
Hey, if you're gonna leave anything, leave that giant ape set. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
But if you guys would have like a spot that you want to hang it or just point out, appreciate.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you got to sign it and do your episode number and everything.
Sure. No, I'd love to do that. I thought long and hard about it too because I have an antler.
Dude, you don't have to leave the antler here.
You don't have to.
Listen, I have, and I want to, and it came down between that one and one that is arguably bigger, but it'd been laying there a couple years and I got chewed, and it's still like, it's just you found a dinosaur bone because it's so big and it laid there for so long.
You ever found a dinosaur bone?
Yeah,
you ever found a mammoth tusk? Real impressive, but ever found a mammoth tusk?
Right. One upper Judd over here. So
No.
I asked my dad, like, hey, this is what I want to do. I'd be psyched about it. I got it narrowed down to like antlers that have to do with my story and something that means something to me. And I showed him those two because the chewed up one means like that was one of my first big hunts in my stubbies. What I actually did was I took a backpack and I walked as far as I could in the full length legs. And then when it started to get thick, I unbolted, put short legs on, put my legs in my backpack to get through the thick stuff. And I found that big one. Mm-hmm. So I was getting out looking where other people haven't been on public land. I explained all this to my dad. I showed it all to him. And my dad just said, well, that's a fucking easy one. Ain't nobody wants to chewed up goddamn shit. Like, come on. If you're going to give them one, like that one's fucking worth it. Nobody wants a chewed up piece of shit. Give them a pretty one.
Well, we appreciate that big time, man. And you got to sign it if you're going to leave it.
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah, you got to. And, dude, incredible. Great show and tell of sheds.
I brought
these two almost look like a...
They're not the same, but
55 miles apart.
Okay, never mind.
Hour drive.
Winter migration, winter range.
Yeah.
Look at the G2s though, how they both curve in.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. That's cool. Dude, this is probably the best show and tell story collection of sheds that I think I've ever been ran through, you know?
I'm honestly, I was honored and tickled to death to be here. I started listening to the podcast in 2016, and I forgot to look it up on Facebook, but Judd's probably the one that turned me on to it.
He forgot about us.
No, I forgot about podcasts, but when I started working for this company, you're working by yourself, you put the headphones in, you zone out. Eventually, music gets boring.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I switched to podcasts. So I'd heard about you guys from a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And then I think the one thing that you like gave me a shout out on a podcast, like people that shed hunter in a cult, they'd say like, man, if I lost both my legs, I'd still be out there shed. Oh, yeah, fucking yeah, right. Well, yeah. I fucking am too. Yeah. So, that I don't know where the hell I was going with that, but
just listen to the show and whatnot. Well, we're glad to have you in the studio, man. I'm glad we're able to like make this work, and you're able to come in and bring all the show and tell.
That's what I was saying. So that's creme de la creme. I asked my dad, hey, if you were only going to bring like a duffel bag of them, which ones have stories, which ones are cool, which ones would somebody want to just hold because they're freaking neat.
Yeah.
We probably have. So I found 19 this year.
So that's impressive work right there.
I'm not done. I want to crack 20. This
you got to find one more.
This is my record year. I haven't tracked mile per mile, but I can easily say, arguably, I've walked 80 plus.
I believe it, man.
80 plus.
I can't end up in an odd number.
Dude, I think my record's like 20, like not more than 20.
No.
But like in there. And that's a fuck ton for me. And that's a year that I went balls to the wall.
Like I said, the stars aligned with my workload, and my job's really flexible. You get a generator in Chicago that's broke. Well, I mean, I'm leaving my house at 4:30 in the morning, and it could be a bad battery, and I carry one on my truck. Mm-hmm. Like I'm standing at the unit for an hour, maybe two, if I got to double check a bunch of stuff. But then you're done, and I've came far enough financially. I don't need 8 hours, and I love flexibility. Mm-hmm. So the stars aligned this year for me to get out 2, 3, sometimes 4 days a week for, anywhere from a half hour to like 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Change the battery. Hey, I'm still working.
Yeah, no, there was none of that. My time cards reflect it, but if you want to call it like a glorified lunch break on the way home, I find a cool public spot to go check out and just hammer them. And this has been a hell of a year. It's an honor to be on this podcast to talk about all this stuff because I'm so damn passionate about it on my up-to-date record year.
Did you find more in Iowa or Illinois?
I haven't shed. Well, I took like a half-hour walk in Iowa. This is all Illinois.
Okay.
I found all of mine in Illinois, and 18 were on public land.
That's
That's
awesome.
impressive. That's
One was
awesome.
right.
Real impressive.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, dude, we're glad to have you, man. It's a ton of fun talking to you. This is just going to build, and then we can do some check-ins with you and whatnot. And
Sure.
If people want to find you, I know we talked TikTok, Limb Loss Boss. Where else can they get a hold of you? Say, not a lot. More of the hunting community is getting TikTok. Like Eric just downloaded TikTok, but there's a lot of guys that aren't on TikTok still. So that makes it even more impressive.
I
The
just
numbers
followed
are
you
going.
like an hour ago.
Hell yeah. One more. Why
That's
not?
right.
The more the merrier.
Yeah. Are you making money from TikTok?
I am.
Good.
And I kind of did that not by accident, but I didn't think it was going to turn into anything. You get an email and they're like, hey, we're inviting you to the Creator Fund. Your rules, regulations, and your pay scale starts at 13 cents a video. If you make more than $10, you got to fill out tax forms. Fuck that. That's not worth my time. So I just forgot about it. Like, I'm not going to worry about that. Like 6 months later, I get an email like, your Creator Fund is ready for withdrawal. I didn't sign up for any of that. I didn't
That's
sign
$6
any
million
paperwork.
in there.
Well, so I clicked it, and like I'm not gonna do anything for $10, but I clicked it, and it had built up to like $700, and I was like,
No shit.
I'll fill out some forms for that. I can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am on there, and it's definitely not paying the bills, but
Better than nothing.
Fill your truck with gas, just fucking around on your phone and making jokes. Why not?
I like it. Well, good for you, man.
Yeah.
So if they don't have TikTok, where could they find you?
I'm on Facebook, Hayden Baily, but I don't really add anybody back unless A, your profile picture is you holding a deer, or B, if I know you. I get so many friend requests on there, and
Yeah.
Right.
I have Facebook.
I'm weird
for
with Facebook.
Marketplace. It's kind of fading out.
Well,
Facebook sucks.
It feels more personal. Like if
Yeah.
I'm posting pictures of my kids, I don't post. I post every now and again my kids on Instagram.
Hey, let's
and
be
stuff,
honest. I'm there for Marketplace. What's up?
Yeah, I'm there for Marketplace.
It's the
My
only thing-
Marketplace to newsfeed ratio is like 90-10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing what's for sale. It's a
It's the
big
only
rush
thing
sale.
keeping Facebook alive for blue collar guys.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
I tell everyone if it wasn't for the podcast and Marketplace, I wouldn't be there.
No. Oh, no, for sure. TikTok, Limb Loss Boss. Any shout outs? Anything you want to close out with?
Dream Team Prosthetics in Duncan, Oklahoma is the clinic that gave me the tools and the prosthetics and taught me how to use them. And their protocol made me successful. They won't take the credit for it. They say it's all on the person. I say it takes the right tools to do the work to get to where I'm at.
I love it, man. Well, thank you so much.
I got one more question for you.
Please hit it.
Do you ever think about like going out west, like shed hunting or hunting at all?
Yes.
question.
And right after I lost my legs, obviously your priorities get redirected.
For sure.
My dad and I went and hunted mule deer in New Mexico.
Okay.
And we actually ended up in a unit that had no fucking mule deer. We went down there based on an outdated map in a magazine that said there was trophy bucks in this area, and we ended up down there and talked to some of the locals, and they were like, the fucking drought 4 years ago killed every deer out here, and they're like, you came from central Illinois to hunt deer here? And we were like, yeah, well, I'm trying. Yeah. So I've been mule deer hunting in Wyoming. That was right after graduating high school with my dad. That was an experience, and I've been in New Mexico legless once.
Damn. That's a good story.
Pretty good one.
Do a little more research.
Yeah.
Well, hey, don't read magazines from the 80s anymore either.
Yeah.
Hey, found a hidden gem. Let's go. This magazine.
Yeah,
said
we
it was
drew
good.
tags first try. But
Yeah.
no, I have thought about that. And like I kind of mentioned at the beginning of this thing, covering ground, as an amputee is a lot harder.
Sure.
But that also kind of brings out just being strategic and figuring out, where you're doing and what you got to do to get where you want to be and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. I would like to do that someday when I have more time to apply to it.
Yeah.
I'd say my big focus right now would be at some point, probably not this year, but in the next couple of years, I'm going to get back into bow hunting. Because I
like
bow
it.
hunted
Awesome.
before I lost my legs, and it's just a passion of mine. Right now, I live in town. It's our first house, and our plan in the next year is to actually, my dad's getting a house built, and then we're going to buy the house I grew up in, and I'll be living right where I hunt, so it'll be a lot more easy to
Yeah, for sure.
get off work.
Anybody's got the drive, man. You got it.
I'm going to try.
He's killing it.
I don't have any doubts. I do not have any doubts that you'll kill it. As soon as you pick a bow back up, you'll kill a bow that year, or kill a deer with your bow that year.
Kill a bow.
You could kill a bow. I don't know.
Honestly, I would
Put an
like
arrow in it,
to.
you can kill it.
I would like to try and ground hunt for deer with a bow. I would like to put on a ghillie suit at 4
Dude.
foot nothing and go tuck back.
A
in some
ghost
fucking
blind
brush.
for you would be
Money.
fucking money. You ever seen a ghost blind?
Is that those mirrors?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm a little guy and I can walk through thick spots that nobody can. And you know, when you get back in what I call a buck hide, when you go somewhere and you feel like you're in the beast's lair.
Yeah.
Like I'm in this fucker. I am outnumbered here. Like this.
Especially if you put these sons of bitches on, you could be perfect
so
level.
if I could get in one of those thickets, like I just want to see a deer of this class walk through that thick, because they got to have their face dragging the ground to get that rack through some of that
Yeah.
stuff. Could you imagine finding a thick spot to set up in that and just wait?
Man, I just think getting in and out would be tough, but you could do it.
Oh, yeah, I would.
He goes
I'm
right underneath that multiflora rose.
fucking
Yeah,
A,
that's
bud.
true.
I'm eye level with the deer's trail.
Yeah, that's true.
I can see their tunnels, like little hobbit roads.
Yeah,
I can get on I can get on their level and see like
Yeah.
they're traveling here.
Like, not trying to be an asshole or nothing, but you could almost put, like, just carry a decoy with you with the short legs on, and
Be the decoy.
Yeah,
You
like
you are the
fucking
decoy.
deer centaur. I mean, nobody's ever done that before. Would that be legal?
like the Trojan horse, but you're just
yeah.
the deer.
I don't think there's any law saying it's illegal.
You can't be a bilateral amputee deer centaur to go out and kill bucks.
Hey,
What DNR's going to charge you when you come out walking like that?
The guy having a bad day.
you got something against guys with no legs? You son of a bitch. I'm out here trying to hunt just like you are. Yeah, just guilt them.
Yeah,
Oh, totally.
Hey,
whatever it takes.
whatever it takes, man. Yeah, whatever it takes. You can do it. I have
I
faith in you,
might
buddy.
go creative with it, but at first we're going to try and just be a bush.
Be a bush first,
Get a
and then be a
ghillie suit, go out
centaur
and be
after
a
that. Well, awesome, man. This was a ton of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I enjoyed
appreciate it.
This is a lot of fun. That's cool.
You've done a podcast before this?
No, I ain't never done nothing like this.
Fuck. Well,
And I was nervous as hell when I walked through that door. I just drove hours. I feel like I can't walking like shit, leaning on stuff. I'm all
Pop in the cherry, you know.
jittery. Yeah, well, we're here now. I feel like I'm at home.
oh, it was a blast, man. Eric, you got anything to throw in?
No, man, just appreciate you bringing in the show and tell and coming on board.
Judimus?
Badass. The whole thing, all of it. Love it.
Good times.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. Go shoot your bow. We love you.